What's up, y'all? It's your boy JTMM, aka JustTenMoreMinutes, aka the Freakin 10, back again with more Sabaton history. And this one with nuclear attack that I covered yesterday, it's one of those, as I said, that kind of gave me mixed feelings because it's a really good song, but about a really dark moment. Two dark moments, I guess you could say. I don't, you know, this is one of those areas where, you know, it's just not something that I don't want to say a fan of, but it's just, as you can tell, I'm at a loss for words of it. I've never understood nuclear weapons. They're so devastating that the usage is just, it's one of those where you can't turn it back, right? You know, a lot of the times when you talk about normal weapons, you know, whether it's just a grenade or, you know, a larger mortar or a larger, you know, bomb of some sort, just a standard, you know, like the one in Germany, the the Blaze. Those are ones where a city, as soon as you get the fire out and you get the stuff cleaned up, you can rebuild. A nuclear weapon is something just totally different, right? And that to me is just, it's one of those extreme things. And just not, I don't want to say proud because I had nothing to do with it, right? I mean, yes, is it a part of history? Sure. But not anything that I truly believe in or, you know, was a part of. It's just one of those things that just, it bugs me with these bombs. So, you know, I've never looked into the details of these, but I love learning, and that's what this journey is about. So let's take a listen and see what details that I didn't know. I don't think it's going to sway my mind, but you never know. Let's take a look.
There are a handful of moments in human history when our world is very much a world before and a world after.
And especially in this one, nuclear attack.
Prepare for nuclear attack!
April 1945. Mere hours after Harry Truman is sworn in as American president after the death of Franklin Roosevelt, he is led to a meeting with Secretary of War Henry Louis Stimson. Stimson tells the new president about the real purpose of the secret Manhattan Project, laying out exactly what the teams of the nation's top physicists and engineers have been working on for so long. Using electromagnetic separation, they have learned that a fast chain reaction can release an incredible amount of energy, harnessing the power of the atom. And they have turned that concept into a weapon of destructive power never before created in the history of mankind. From an outside view, the Second World War is wrapping up. Germany's done for, and Japan's surrender seems perhaps only a few months away. However, the alliance between the Western Allies and the Soviet Union is more fragile than ever. With the Red Army marching into Poland, Hungary, and Romania, President Truman watches with worry as the Soviets tighten their grip on half of Europe. The U.S. administration is strictly opposed to the autocratic Soviet system of state control and secret police, but they still may need Soviet help to bring the war against Japan to a quick conclusion. It has become a political poker game between the two power blocks, and each asset a card that is thrown onto the table. But now, with the atomic bomb becoming a reality, the U.S. finds itself with an ace up its sleeve and a means to dictate terms to the post-war world. By the time of the Potsdam Conference in mid-July, the final experiments, codenamed Trinity, have proven that the atomic bomb truly works. But while the Truman administration sends its congratulations, more and more scientists within the Manhattan Project voice their concerns about the correct use of the bomb's unprecedented killing power. Prominent physicist Leo Szilard is the loudest advocate for a careful approach. He emphasizes that war has to be restrained within the bounds of common humanity. Why not keep the weapon, but not use it? The war will be over soon, maybe 6 more months. A naval blockade will be surely enough to starve the Japanese into surrender. Japan has no allies left, no surface navy or air force, while the US has inexhaustible resources. By unleashing the atomic bomb, Szilard argues, the US will not only lose its moral superiority, but also its industrial advantage. The biggest strength of the American military is that its heavy armament industry can outproduce everyone else on the planet. But an atomic arms race will void this advantage. For now, the US has the monopoly, but it will not keep it forever. How long will the Soviet Union need to build atomics from scratch? 10 years? Maybe 5 if they make use of captured German scientists or spies within the US. What would the world become if those fundamentally opposed systems ever made use of the bomb?
That's exactly. I couldn't agree with that physicist more. I mean, of just the killing power of this thing. It's one thing for soldiers and soldiers, and I said this yesterday. Soldier to soldier combat, it is what it is. But releasing it on innocent civilians and doing that much damage at one time, it just doesn't make sense to me. You can make statements in many ways. I mean, you know, and this goes for any country. This isn't a U.S. thing. That was one. Those 2 bomb droppings to me were the biggest mistakes. I get the flexing and to say, back off. But again, where I struggle with all of this is that you've got countries where you sometimes elect an official, sometimes they're put into power, depending on what country. And yet these individuals go back and get to speak for your country when they may be an absolute idiot. And we've dealt with this recently, including now, past, where we get these guys that have no freaking clue on how to manage relationships with people, and yet we put them into power and they ruin countries. And don't think I'm taking political sides, because our last couple of presidents dating back for quite some time have all been frickin' morons. And look at the way the country is today. I rest my case. You know, but to go in and getting back to the war, it just boggles my mind on why we do the things we do. It really does. They don't make sense from just standard logic views. And with this bomb you think about releasing that kills that many people that quickly, and then damages others for a lifetime, that's just, that really bugs me. It really, really does. Let's keep going.
On the other side stands the US military, which argues that having such a bomb and not using it is unjustifiable to the American people. The invasion of Okinawa cost over 12,000 American soldiers their lives. How many more would die in an invasion of the Japanese mainland? Against an enemy that says it will arm its people even with bamboo sticks to avoid unconditional surrender. For many in the military, total war justifies total death. How many millions had already died man-made deaths in World War II? The U.S. Air Force had turned Hamburg and Dresden to burning ruins and had killed 100,000 people in Tokyo. Ultimately, the bomb is not much different in what it would achieve, they argue, but instead would save a great many American lives. The bomb itself has to be the message: unconditional surrender or total destruction. target committee is set up to list possible Japanese cities. The chosen city has to be well within the range of the B-29 Super Fortress bombers, which must be extra modified to carry such a unique, single, large bomb. To accurately study the effects of the explosion, the target must be untouched by previous bombing raids. Only then can the damage and the power of the bomb be accurately determined. The target should be military in nature, a city that has at least a large troop concentration, stores military equipment, or houses important headquarters. Eventually, the choice comes down to two cities. The first is Kyoto, the ancient capital of Japan. Not only does it have a large industrial area, it's also the intellectual center of Japan. Destroying it would have a large psychological effect on Japanese society. The other city is Hiroshima. It has an important army embarkation port and a huge urban area. Additionally, the surrounding heights there would add a focusing effect to the blast damage. Secretary Stimson is appalled by the coldness of the calculations, and he personally forbids the destruction of Kyoto. If they have to kill a whole lot of people, then at least they can spare their history and culture. Hiroshima is top of the list. So they calculate the correct height of the detonation, the radiological effects, and the predicted expenditure of the bomb's energy. The first bomb, Little Boy, is expected to have the same impact of an amount between 5 and 20,000 tons of TNT. The Trinity testing has proven that their theories work. But there is still a lot of speculation. Would a chain reaction maybe set the whole atmosphere of the Earth on fire? Who really knew? The men on board the designated B-29, nicknamed Enola Gay after the...
Those pants. Those pants. Come on, guys. Get with the times.
The pilot's mother know little of all those discussions and speculations. On the night of August 6th, they load the 9,700-pound armored cylinder into the compartment of the bomber and take off towards Hiroshima. At 3 a.m., the weaponeers begin readying the bomb, preparing its triple fusing system. At 6, they approach Iwo Jima and are joined by other planes that will observe and photograph the results. At 7:30, as they climb to the bombing altitude, the internal batteries of Little Boy are activated. The weather reports are favorable. The crew of the Enola Gay put on their flak suits and anti-glare goggles and prepare for the countdown. At 8:15 a.m., the bomb bay opens and the bomb drops. As Little Boy falls to Earth, the arming wires are removed, starting its internal clocks. As the bomber banks away, the bomb's radar activates, sending signals towards the ground. At the predetermined altitude, an electrical signal reaches the fusing system, closing the circuit. 43 seconds after Little Boy leaves the Enola Gay, a bright light fills the plane and the first shockwave violently shakes it. Behind them, Hiroshima vanishes in a boiling mushroom cloud.
August in black, B-29 starting back. Prepare for nuclear attack. One but did not heed. Prepare for nuclear attack.
The people of Hiroshima have begun their day like any other in those troubled times. The morning is mostly quiet until the air sirens begin and people look to the sky, searching for incoming planes. The evacuation program has reduced the city's inhabitants to around 245,000 people, and almost no one that is lucky enough to survive the day remembers hearing the sound of the bomb's explosion. For them, it is a noiseless flash, followed by a wave of unimaginable heat. Everything close to the explosion is immediately obliterated as the pressure wave advances at 2 miles per second. Most homes in Japan are made out of wooden frames and wooden walls, which instantly collapse or burn as the released thermal energy engulfs everything in a blue-green fireball. Those further away who watch the bomb explode are immediately blinded by the flash. Survivors soon wander the streets, escaping the fires of their homes. Their clothes are torn to rags, their swollen faces blistered, their skin, black from third-degree burns, peels off their bodies. Like sleepwalkers, they wander through the smoldering ruins that were their city moments before. The child, making a suffering groaning sound, his burned face swollen up, balloon-like and jerking as he wanders among the fires. The old man, the skin of his face and body peeling off like a potato skin, mumbling prayers while he flees with faltering steps. Another man pressing with both hands the wound from which blood is steadily dripping, rushing around as though he's gone mad and calling the names of his wife and child. Ah, my hair seems to stand on end just to remember. This is the way war really looks.
You know, this is one that just leaves you speechless. Yes, would I love to provide this insight and commentary, but this, much like, the blazing fire of Hamburg from the previous one and how emotional I got with that, this gives me that same sickening feeling. It really does. These people have nothing to do with this. This is a bunch of freaking old ass people that want to swing a bigger wang than the other one, and start shit that innocent people have to deal with because those at the top want to swing a bigger wang than the other one. It's just my personal opinion. I'm all about defending, but I struggle with taking offensives like this. As I said, do I get it? Yes. It's one of those where do I 100% understand what the military strategic point of doing this was? Yeah, I sure do. And I mean, obviously it was effective. Back the hell off or we're going to annihilate you. I get it. But damn, it sucks.
140,000 people die in the immediate explosion of the bomb. Thousands more will soon die of their wounds, but even those who survive the initial bomb cannot escape the radiation. Those exposed to the direct gamma radiation are slowly dying already, suffering for years. After 5 years, the number of dead rises to 200,000. But despite the nightmarish reports, the war is still not over. And Fat Man, the implosion bomb, is being readied. A new target is at the top of the list. This time it is the city of Nagasaki, and another B-29 bomber soon takes off. 70,000 will die this time, and Japan will finally surrender. The atomic age has begun. Scientists are already working on improved implosion systems and the potential of thermonuclear fission that could unleash the equivalent of over 100 million tons of TNT, dwarfing Little Boy and Fat Man by far. The Second World War is over, but the world has entered an era potentially far more frightening.
And that's the part that scares the hell out of me, because you think about the cities across the world that are now so overpopulated, where that 100,000 or that 140,000 and then the 200,000 easily would be 1 million, right? I think about, if some of these countries were to do that over American soil, or even over let's say the plane gets shot down, think about that exploding and what that does to the environment. If you were to do that over an ocean, just the ripple effect of, tidal waves and things like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm just theoretically guessing. But let's say that it was successful and it hit a city like New York City or down on the coast of, let's say like in Florida. or, a major import city like Houston near me. Now you're getting into the millions of instant deaths. Is that really worth it over pissing contests? I don't know. Shit boggles my mind.
So, this is a obviously very heavy subject matter.
Yep.
Is it something that you thought about first and said we should write a song about this, or how did the song evolve? Was it music first, lyrics first, or?
The music we had first, and actually the first time we played this live was back, 2000, I don't remember, a long time ago. And the lyrics weren't finished. We had some of it, and bit of a weird history with that one.
What did you do if you didn't have the full lyrics? You're the singer.
We had the chorus, which has harmonies in it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was written, and some other parts, but I just pretended and went in the verses when we
Specifically.
which now in retrospect feels less than honorary given the subject.
Okay, but you're chroniclers, you're not opinioners.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just one of the few times in history where we didn't do it properly. We should have finished the song and stuff like that. No, not only regarding to history, but regarding to the fans who were there at the time.
Okay.
Given, there weren't that many at that time. But
Now, how often has this song been in your live repertoire?
Not that much at all, actually. I mean, this one came out on the Attero Dominatus album. We did the first, Nightliner European tour with Edguy and Dragon Force in early 2006. So we had just actually, funnily enough, we had to accelerate the recording. We did the recording and mixing and mastering of that album in like 3 weeks. So, I mean, it was tumultuous times, and when we got out on tour, that album hadn't been released. After a while, we're going in and doing The Art of War, and had a lot of songs that became very popular.
Sure.
So by that time, I think already by the next album rotation, unfortunately, Nuclear Attack got
Well, this leads to an interesting question, because at this point you have dozens and dozens of songs, and you write, you'll release another dozen every 2 years or whatever, something like that. And of course, with a new tour, the Great Tour, for example, you want to play a lot of the songs from the new albums. Do you really miss playing a lot of the older ones sometimes? Do you get to throw them in often enough and mix it up?
It's different. Some of them it's truly good to be rid of them. Some of them I really miss.
Name one.
Oh, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Every time we do a set list for a tour, this is a kind of a, what do you call it, common question among fans. And it's really tricky for us because people are, in general, appreciating the era of a band, not only us, where they discovered the band.
Of course.
So we try to, sometimes we reactivate an old song, like we did with a song called 7734. We did it now with Angels Calling. So we're constantly looking for ways to sneak in a few, gems.
One thing I really, really liked on the Sabaton cruise last December was the two shows, you do two shows, and you play different songs.
Yeah, but it's also during those shows, because if you catch us, for example, at a festival, there's going to be a good chance for us to get new fans. So what we want to do is play a bit more of a party set, a bit more of a greatest hits, try to get some new fans in there.
I think you should just play Resist and Bite like 20 minutes.
We'll only work in Belgium.
Sorry, but I love that song. That's my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's my favorite. And actually, it never was, but it was when you guys played it live on the Sabaton cruise.
Okay.
And I was like, I never understood that song until I heard it live.
Okay, it's weird. I mean, some songs turn into something different live.
Yeah.
And Nuclear Attack, I would say, is one of those songs.
Okay.
It actually works amazing live. I really love performing it.
Well, maybe in the next couple of years, when you're allowed to play shows again, you can bring back Nuclear Attack one day.
As soon as this lockdown is over.
Well, hopefully it'll be over by Sabaton cruise time, because then they'll play Resist and Bite and nuclear attack, but on 2 different nights. So
Thanks for making promises, man.
I'm not promising. I'm not in the band. I can say what I like. I can say the first night they're going to play this and this and this, and the editors can go, no, no, no. You're adding buzzes, aren't you? Oh, and of course, the 90s R&B favorites.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
But
throw
they're
that in.
always going to be there.
Well, that's the second day. That's the second day of the Sabaton cruise.
Yeah, we should have you perform that.
We should. Actually, we should have me on the next Sabaton cruise. I'm just throwing this out.
Okay.
And you can't say yes or no when the camera's running. You can decide afterwards if it does. Okay. It's probably going to be no. Right? but you can't say okay. Okay. The second day of the Sabaton cruise, right? We should have me in the piano bar with the grand piano.
Liking it so far?
Yep. Playing Sabaton songs, right? But as 90s R&B songs.
I love it. Honestly,
Yeah.
let us know if you want that. I would.
Come on, that'd be
no,
fun,
no matter
right?
how you want to play them in a piano bar.
Yeah.
Sing along. We can have people around.
I'm a really good piano player. Trust me on this. So it'll be okay.
do you think?
Cool. All right,
Let's do
deal.
it.
A deal.
A deal.
All right, I got it. Oh, don't shake hands, by the way. Corona.
Oh yeah, right.
I've already had it.
You already had it, yes.
So-
I haven't.
Can we zoom in on that? Just zoom in on that, and just have things saying, "See you next time on Sabaton History." I think that's a good ending.
A nuclear attack!
All right, everyone. You know the drill. You click, 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 click. Get some subscriptions. Check out Indy's other channels. Become a Patreon. That's it. Get the fuck out of here.
It's my favorite ending. You know, this is one where I wish the endings covered more of the song and not just a 30-second blurb about it. But at the same time, I mean, it's entertainment. Yeah, the song is an amazing song. I mean, if you just listen to the lyrics, the way they're written, it's so well written. The music is great, but damn, I mean, you just think about instantly, right, of how many people were gone and just didn't know. You know, I mean, it was just boom, done. And then the thousands, you know, that lived with the after effects. I mean, it's insane. That's the part that scares me about this whole thing. You know, is you're talking about giving people power to annihilate another country with just a word. Now I realize there's levels of approval that has to go through, but you know, and some of those countries that have that capability, it would be very hard for them to do it based on the process in which it's set up. But ultimately, I mean, you know, that process can be thwarted, I'm sure, given the people that are in power. Man, the fact I think that really scares me more about it is what is that next step that they're probably already developing to do something like that on an even bigger scale, right? That's the part I worry about. Not just for this generation, but for generations to come. Long after all of us are gone. That's the part that's scary, you know. Great song. Damn, is that a dark subject. All right, that's going to do it for this one. Y'all know who I am and what I'm about. JTMM. Like, subscribe, and share. I'm out.